Passing it on doesn't mean letting it go. It means making space for the next adventure.
Getting hired to shoot a commercial for a major brand like Arc'teryx isn't just about being a great cinematographer. It's about understanding the brand's identity. Every top brand has a signature look, a distinct feel that makes their ads instantly recognizable. So why did Arc'teryx choose us to bring their vision to life? In this video, I'm breaking down exactly how we shot this commercial for Arc'teryx, from concept to execution. Arc'teryx wanted an ad that felt raw, real, and adventurous, so our job was to capture that authenticity. That meant scouting rugged locations, managing multiple shoot days, and aligning every shot with the brand's identity. Managing a project with so many moving parts can get overwhelming fast, and that's where our favorite organizational tool comes in, which is Milanote. Milanote is a place that allows us to just organize all our thoughts and ideas and then reorganize it as a proper project breakdown. Anybody can look at this Milanote and know exactly what's going on. And for this, we like to break it up into 3 different sections. We have our initial brief, the deliverables, and the timelines of the project and who exactly we're working with as key talent. And then we go into the creative's concept, what this is supposed to look like. Then we can start diving into storyboards, the revised storyboards, and any other notes that we need. And then references, what the structure of the edit is supposed to look like, and the project, as well as the creative style. These are 2 things that I like to have of what the actual video that is we're creating, and then what the video will exactly look like. And I love in Milanote how you can just put these links here, and then I can even play the video in the background, and then you can see it playing while we're talking or presenting anything, like exactly in this case. And then I can pause it and it's ready to go. And then we have our 3rd column here, which is almost like the logistics and how we're going to execute the project. So this is location photos and the actual previs that we shot in store, in studio, and on location when we're doing all the location scouts, and then a shot list. So we're going to be diving into that after. But the first thing I want to look at is the storyboarding. And the storyboarding process, we do all our storyboards in Milanote because we just find it is the easiest to do, because it is the exact style and how we want to communicate our thoughts and ideas. So once we look into this a little bit more, we can see that our scenes are clearly organized of what this is supposed to look like. We have our main talent coming into this store and exchanging her piece of equipment to basically have a second life. And then we go into the various shots of the person trying on different pieces of gear and then experiencing the lives that those pieces of gear had. So I can exactly see what's going on here, and we can throw in references as well as text. And it's my job as a cinematographer to take all these ideas and what has been basically created in this storyboard and to take it into a shot list to exactly what we're going to be shooting this on, what the angles look like, and the lenses and gear that are going to be needed. So now if we go back to our main board, which is easy as that, we have basically the shot list that we're going to be looking at, as well as before a look and feel. And I like to generally make a board, a PDF, or anything I can share with anybody to say this is exactly what the look and feel of the project is going to look like. We have a lot of in-store stuff. We have a lot of just out in the wilderness. It's very commercial, but it has that watchy feeling of an Arc'teryx commercial. And that is very important when aligning with the brand's identity. And then this is just a very pleasing board to look at. I don't want to be ingesting information in a basically organized and chaos manner. If you present this stuff very well and just laid out, people are going to enjoy this process as well, because they can see the time and effort that you put into that. Make the switch to Milanote and check out the link in the description to sign up today. And then we're gonna just briefly look at the master shot list as well, which we like to do in Google Docs. And this is our shot listing template. And if you're interested, check out the link in the description to actually get one of your own. And what I like to do is having an editing shooting schedule. So this is exactly what the edit will look like. I know this is very intimidating, but this is after weeks of planning and proper pre-production and just so many things of going back and forth with the director, and then what the actual days look like. So this has actually been through so many different iterations, and we have shot references exactly what this is supposed to look like. And then we just have multiple days set up. With the planning locked in, it was time to make sure that we had the right tools to execute on our vision. For this project, we needed a camera package that could handle harsh environments while delivering cinematic visuals. In addition to that, we analyzed the main reference of this commercial and their use of a lot of wide lenses with handheld movement, as well as in-camera zoom with that watching feel. With my needs and the look and feel established, I can really dial in what I need as a cinematographer to execute this project. We shot this on the Sony Venice, the FX3, and the Red Komodo. The Venice and FX3 are my favorite set of cameras to use because it gives me the most flexibility to get shots I need for a dynamic commercial like this. The Venice for tripod and dolly work, and the FX3 for gimbal and specialty shots. The Red Komodo was specifically used for some VFX shots, but I'm going to be diving into that later, so make sure you watch the full video. For lenses, we use the DZO Arliss Primes, an ARRI Allura 45 to 250mm zoom, the Laowa Probe 2 set, and a Laowa 12mm. For lighting, all the in-store scenes we use an f22C, a 600D with a Fresnel, and Teletechnica light cloth, and some floppies, as well as a 6x4 frame. But even the best gear doesn't mean much without the right approach. And on a production like this, adapting to your environment was everything. So let's see how we exactly did that. This project was divided up into 3 production days. The first 2 being coverage of all the outdoor scenes, and then the last was an overnight where we got to shoot in Arc'teryx Store, which was a pretty cool experience. It's hard to think how to approach a project like this when there are so many moving parts. But the director and I said it would be great if we shot all the outdoor shots with the products first, so that we would have all the match cuts and VFX shots we needed to get in store. You could do this any way that you wanted, but our approach was breaking down everything and then seeing what needed to be executed on first. So let's make a list of scenes that we needed to get. The main talent entering the Arc'teryx Store, the same talent going rock climbing, the 2 female talent going for a hike, the male talent going for a photo walk, the talent trying on the clothes and making a purchase. Once you list everything out, it becomes a lot more obvious on how to execute the project. But besides execution, a big question that you might be having right now is, how do you even get work like this? Getting projects like this is all about knowing how to shoot for brands, and that's exactly what we teach in Cinematic Portfolio Mastery. It's an 8-week live program with the Tenfold team and I designed to help build a commercial portfolio that gets you hired without needing a huge budget or industry connections. Enrollment opens February 17th for 2 weeks, but there are limited seats. Check out the link in the description to sign up today for our waitlist and start building your portfolio with commercial work. Now, let's get back into the video and show you exactly how we shot this. Day 1 started off with the capture of exterior shots of the store. These were the first shots we intended to be in the commercial of Pia, the main talent, exchanging her jacket, entering the store. As the visual language of this project was a lot of zooms as well as the watching feeling where the camera is very far away with very tight focal lengths. We filmed the talent from 3 different angles, the first in the front, the second on the side with the zoom, and then a master wide of the store so we would have flexibility in post to cut to whatever we wanted to. And that's really important when you're executing montage commercials, is yes, having a set shot list, but having multiple different angles of the same action happening. From there, we traveled to a local climbing spot where we could capture the same talent climbing a rock face. We allotted a full afternoon to get this done because it was a logistical nightmare hiking into the location and then down to the bottom of a cliff face where we would be doing all our shooting. And this is where proper pre-production really paid off. We captured a variety of shots. The talent looking up the cliff face from a variety of different angles, climbing up the cliff face in a bunch of different camera positions, which were really interesting to pull off, and interacting with the spotter with keeping in mind that we're shooting this as a commercial with that watching feeling, which is very the Arc'teryx look, but as well as being in all of these actions with super wide lenses. So it's very important, as this is a combination of a narrative and montage commercial. It's really good to overshoot each location to ensure that you have a lot of options in post. Day 2 followed a very similar structure of 2 locations before and after lunch. In the morning, we focused on the talent going for a photo walk, which inspires him as an artist, showing off the side bag, which was the hero prop in this location. This was a really fun one to shoot because we did a combinations of setups in the heart of downtown Toronto, but it was in the middle of December, so it was extremely cold. The first shooting all the walking shots on a Segway where I could maintain the handheld look, but focus on the framing really well. A Segway or electronic skateboard is one of the most useful tools as a filmmaker I've learned to use because it allows me to get dynamic shots that feel very commercial. In addition, we stuck to the look and feel of a commercial, filming him exploring the city from far away with a zoom lens, which gave us some very interesting shots that the director and I were very happy with. From there, we moved to a conservation area just outside of the city to capture the scene of the two female talents going for a hike and showing off another Arc'teryx product, which was the purple jacket. This shot was intended to be seen in the first experience of the talent trying on all these different clothes. And this is where the red Komodo came in. It was intended that this would be a 180-degree camera movement and have the talent step into frame. We shot this on the red Komodo paired with the RS3 Pro due to the fact that we could control the timing of the pan similar to a camera robot, but just on one axis. The reason why we shot this on the red Komodo is because it has global shutter, and this is always preferred for VFX. But this shot later just got scrapped due to the length of the edit, and that's just the reality of editing commercials. From there, we just rinsed and repeated the way that we shot all the other scenes of this commercial. Long zooms, sweeping wides, and capturing the needed match cuts to move the narrative forward. The last day of production was my first overnight. And let me tell you, nothing could prepare me for what it takes to get a production like this done. We had scheduled this to be an 11-hour night with loading in at 8 p.m. and then wrapping by 7 a.m. As this was the entire spine of the commercial, because we had to cut back to it so many times, attention to detail was needed. This meant matching all the framing for all the match cuts, ensuring that we had continuity between conversations, and more importantly, hitting the aesthetic of our Arc'teryx branded commercial. As we had so many shots and scenes to cover, I went with the intention of keeping all the lights on, exposing for that, then adding my own lights to shape. This is why our lighting kit was so minimal and we were able to get all the shots needed in this time. From building an overhead dolly to capture the initial wide of the store, to the FX3 on standby with a 12mm lens to get specialty shots. Everything went smoothly only because we spent so much time in the pre-production process. But that plan can only take us so far, because around 3 a.m. that's when everybody starts to get a little bit delirious and irritated, but that's just the nature of an overnight shoot. The best thing that I could recommend is to be a leader in these situations. Everyone is tired, everyone is irritable, but we are all here to achieve a common goal, and a positive attitude goes a very long way. We pushed forward and got all the shots inside and set up for our last shot of the entire commercial. And this was the talent entering the store for the first time. With that shot wrapped, it was a wrap on my personal first overnight experience as well as this Arc'teryx commercial. The biggest lessons I learned, and I feel like this is something I repeat for a lot of commercials, is being able to be flexible and being able to think on the spot for a lot of things. Yes, we did location scouts as well as text scouts, but nothing can really prepare you on when you have all that equipment and you're setting up shots for the first time. For example, when we're shooting a rock climbing scene, one of the most important shots is when she gets off of the rock face and then she brushes her jacket. And then she's just looking up, and this is a very powerful moment of what she was basically experiencing. And then when we shot it, it was a very overcast day with the sun coming in and out, and we did a proper location scout. We knew where the sun was going to be, but we can't really count on that on the day. So we just finished up and we wrapped everything, but then the sun came out as we said the word wrap on this location. So what I did is I asked the director, hey, can I have another 5 minutes to reshoot that last shot with the sun out? And then we saw it and we put it up in frame. Then we saw that we had some flares coming in as well as nice shape on her because of the sun. And that's the biggest thing I can say is don't be afraid to shoot things twice when the lighting is better, because it's going to add that value to the piece. You can't just stop by saying that is good enough, we got the shot, we can move on. Always think about how you can take it to the next level, and I feel like that has put us ahead, myself as a cinematographer and Tenfold as a production company.